Well, here's the anime time I promised you guys like 2 weeks ago. Yo, what is up, Crockxen clan members, anime fans, and others who will some fun this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today I'm going to review that one show that I told you guys I was going to review like a long time ago. It even showed up in the top 10 without me having a review out for it. But here it is, Chivalry of a Failed Knight. Now, this anime story goes the route of the underdog story. You know, the underdog. But the thing is, he's not really an underdog. When they explain the reasoning for his... Okay, so, like, the point... We're in a school, right? We're in a school that uses... Or we're in a world where certain people have magic, but realistically what it is that their spiritual energy is so high they can create a weapon that they manipulate. And those people then go to schools to be able to master their powers, you know, be able to use them correctly, and, you know, hopefully fight off the people who use them for wrong, right? But there are regular, just straight up normal people who have no abilities. Now, the schools have a specific system for grading your abilities depending on your magic power, and then you get ranked from A to F. Our main protagonist is a rank F knight, because that's what they're called. They're called knights. He's a rank F knight because the ranking system does not fit where he's at. Like, he technically is stronger and better than the majority of the people in the school, but because he has a magic level that is very lacking, he is ranked as the worst knight in the school. To the point where the previous year he actually was denied classes because he was just not available. Also, his family's a bunch of assholes. His dad doesn't like him, and he was kind of shunned out of his family's life because he just didn't have the magical power. So mainly what he does is that he overcompensates with sword skill. The one thing I did notice in this show is that pretty much everybody has a fucking sword. There was only like one character who I saw that had a bow and arrow, and that was like the first guy we see fighting our main protagonist. So like the majority of the people either have a knife or a sword or a type of blade. Actually there was another person, but that one was just weird. Like, it was a guy that had a thing in his hand that was able to absorb your powers and use them against you, kind of like Ukitake from Bleach that would absorb from one and shoot out the other, kind of like that kind of ability. And the basic premise of the show is just to see the progress, because he is the only person in the school who, in order to graduate, has to win what they have. It's called the 7-Star Festival, which is like a competition between schools. They send representatives and yada yada yada. So because of the way he is and the fact that the family has a lot of influence in the school, the principal is actually the good thing is, like, this is a new principal, and she's the one that was able to get him in the school. So like, but she wasn't able to. They forced her hand to the point where he can only graduate from school if he somehow wins the 7-Star Festival, which his dad doesn't want. Like, he actually hates his son. And over the course of the series, there is technically some romance here between the two main characters, Ikki and Stella, and it's actually very prominent, like, right from the get-go. And it does, like, they don't go at it right from the get-go. You can tell it's gonna happen, but like they flesh it out in a specific way that I really enjoyed. And then, like, just all the struggles that Ikki has to go through, as well as Stella, because I'm gonna talk about them when I go to the character section. But there's struggles of, you know, actually being able to make it to the qualifiers to enter the 7-Star Festival, and just a bunch of shenanigans. Now, the animation and music section. I thought the animation was actually really good. The characters look great. I love the settings that they did with certain aspects. I love the fact that we got to see like a Japan style of school or samurai school, which is something that if I ever go to Japan, I hope I get the chance to go into a dojo and just see what it's like to be in one. and you know, the characters looked great. The music, I have to say, the opening itself didn't really wow me. I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I kind of just like, because I was watching it on Hulu and I didn't feel like skipping because I might mess it up, because that just tends to happen when I watch Hulu sometimes. It just messes us up and I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't skip because ads and shit. So like I sometimes was just forced to just have it on. Um, but the OST track, like the soundtracks that are in the backgrounds of certain scenes, are actually really well done. I love the main theme of the fights when they're actually gonna do the fights, and some of the scenes like when it's supposed to be like really creepy, they have like this weird ambience soundtrack that just there were some scenes that really gave me like chills when they did those things. So it kind of helped like make the environment for that scene. So I gotta give them props for that. Like the music they used in their scenes were actually well done, and like they kind of help build the suspense. So I kind of like that. And I also like when it's like the final blow type of stuff. They had like this weird, not weird, but they had like this specific soundtrack that they would use to signify this is where it's gonna end, and it kind of like really it kind of fills you with adrenaline. Obviously, you're not gonna do anything because you're watching the show, but the people in the show are gonna do the stuff. So I don't know. I just felt like it really gave you an adrenaline boost just watching that and listening to that in the background. You're like, this is hype as hell. So I gotta give it props for that aspect. It looks good, it looks pretty, and it sounds really, really good. And the four characters I want to talk about are Ikki, Stella, Mizuki, and Alice. Uh, and in that order, basically. So Ikki is our main protagonist, right here. Bam. Ikki is the guy I said in the story section, is technically speaking the underdog of the series. His power, aka ability, is he can see things fast. He has he has no actual like magic abilities. He has a sword that's kind of cool looking and stuff like that. But the only thing he can do is that he can enhance his body by manipulating what he sees. So, for example, you know, when you see something, it takes your brain a certain amount of time to process what you're looking at. So, for example, you're looking at, let's say, a phone, this phone right here. Your brain is not only looking at the phone, it's processing the logo, it's processing the stuff in the logo, it's processing the shape, and there's a lot of stuff in there. What he does is that he's able to process only specific thing. Like he can literally shut down unnecessary information, so he's only focused on one thing. And he also has another thing that's called blade steel, which is it works with his technically perfect vision, which is what he calls the thing, which is kind of where he's literally analyzing your movements, the way you fight, and then uses it for himself. So he's able to read his opponents and use their own techniques against them, or be able to read what their next move is going to be and then counter appropriately, which is really cool. It's a really cool ability, and it makes him look like a badass. Unfortunately, because it has technically no magic prowess, well, that's why he's considered a failure, because it's simple sword technique. That's all he has. Yes, he's able to enhance. He technically has like a body enhancement thing where he can move really fast. So use what he calculated to then be able to do whatever he needs with this thing. But at the end of the day, it's literally just swordplay. He has nothing besides that. Because even if he just moves fast, like, he still only has a sword. So, like, he still has to get close range. So he can only fight close range. But that also makes it to where if his opponent is a long-range fighter, he has the advantage if he gets in. That's the type of idea that we have there. So it's what he actually makes you like him over time because of this crutch he has. And the fact that basically it's everybody against him. We do see some of his other side. He's a nice guy, which is typical shonen guy. Shonen main character guy. It's like, oh, I'm a nice guy. I want to take care and help everybody. But he also has like a little arrogant side when he is fighting, because he technically has low self-esteem issues. But when he's in the midst of battle, he gets to have a lot of fun, and sometimes he gets a little arrogant. He's still like he can walk the walk after he talks his talk. That's what I'm saying. Like he knows how to handle his business. But he gets shut down a lot. Like his dad hates him. Like he flat out hates him. His entire family pretty much shunned him because he had no potential. Um, and he's just he always has this upbeat personality, but when you actually like throughout the series, when you see the deep root of him, he's a sad man. Like this is technically a facade. Like everything's all hunky dory, but realistically, I'm just trying to prove myself. And there's also obviously his romantic side, which it was really only showed off near the end, with Stella and stuff like that. And his determination is actually pretty amazing. I'll give him that. I also love his line. He always says this before the end of any fight. He's like, "With my strongest, I will beat your strongest," which is amazing. The second character, Stella, right here, boom. She is hot-headed. Not really. She's like a semi tsundere, because she technically kind of admits her feelings for Iki, but at the same time, she still has the typical tsundere personality or quirks where she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna." I don't like you, or she tries to hide her feelings and try to mask them behind an aggressive behavior. She is an A rank, and she's actually visiting from another country. Or she got to the point where nobody would be able to challenge her, and where she used to live, she's a princess. Nobody challenges her anymore. She was too strong for her own well-being, and she was not going to get any progress. And while she does have talent, like natural born talent, she's also a very strong, like hard-headed training. Like she needs to get better. She needs to improve. She doesn't feel as good about herself. Well, she knows she's strong. She knows she's strong, but she still likes to train. She still likes to improve. That's kind of like her mentality. And she wields this gold sword that has fire. She's literally like a phoenix type of thing, and she's awesome. She's literally like a badass. But of course, her tsundere quirks when they show up, they're kind of awkward and make me like cringe a little bit. But then they show her like sweet side, and you're just like, oh man, I can't hate you. I can't stay mad at you. You're awesome as hell. And yeah, it was great. She was honestly amazing. Also, she is like the fan service character, which is weird. Because like they're like in the beginning of the series, we see her in her underwear. Because she shares a room with Iki, and he didn't know that because she had just gotten there. And then we also have her when they're in the mall, and then she's forced to strip because perverts. And then there's also a scene later on where they end up practically. I think they fell in water. Something happened. I don't remember right now. And then so she wouldn't catch a cold. She had to get naked. And I mean, you don't see anything realistically speaking, but she's the fan service character. That's actually probably my only issue with her, is that they really try to put too much emphasis in the fan service of her. Like, none of the other female characters got that treatment. Like I'm not asking, show them all, but like, why was she the only one that got the treatment? Why was she like, she's supposed to be a badass, yet they always have her in these positions where you're supposed to be looking at her because she's supposed to be like a sexual object. It was weird. Granted, I'm glad that Iki was like a man and like didn't do anything. Although there was a funny scene in the series where like the one where she has to he actually has to unclothe her because she can't move. She is sick. That's what it was. She fell ill, and they were in the cold, and she was just gonna die. And then like so he had to undress her. So he actually used his technique to improve his speed to unclothe her and like cover her at the same time. But then he got an erection. We didn't see it, but she's like, she gets that nervous look, and he notices like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It was funny. I will give it that. That was hilarious. But yeah, so there's that. you can have that for an image. I don't remember what episode it was. I think it was like episode 8 or 9. So if you get to that point, well, you'll see it. The third character, Mizuki. This is Iki's younger sister, and she's a boss. I actually gotta admit, all 4 of these characters are technically awesome as hell, including the one I'm gonna talk about in the final episode. They're all great. She is one that has like a knife things like this big-ish, something like that. And she uses water. She's like the exact opposite of Stella. The funny thing about her is she is the only person in the family that actually gave a damn about Iki. She actually hates her family. She hates people in general. Um, because she saw how they treated her brother. She kind of just hates the dark side of people. Like obviously she can't see the good in people. She can only see the bad. And so she has they do the whole thing of the sister in love with her brother, which was kind of awkward because it kind of ruined her character in some certain aspects until she finally accepted that Stella was going to be with Iki. Like that's when she became like, okay, you're just awesome now, just straight. Because I hate when they do that in shows where they try to push this love between siblings, because that's just not real. Okay, that just does not happen. I mean, if it does, and it's just wrong. I'm sorry if you have feelings like that for your blood, but it's creepy as hell, and it's just not. Anyways, point aside, I don't like it when they do that in anime, so I didn't like it when they did it here. Granted, they did show that her reasoning kind of works. I mean, she's like, I'm the only one that can give him love because I know what he's been through. I get that, but that doesn't mean you just because like the second she shows up, I think it was like in episode 2, she literally makes out with her brother, and it was weird. I honestly had to like pause the episode and like walk away for a couple of seconds because it's just not no. It just no. And then like when she did her fit, she just threw her tantrums because Iki belongs to her. Like it was annoying as hell. So I'm glad that they finally developed her character to the point where she didn't care anymore. Like she understood that Iki was gonna be with Stella and she was okay with it. As long as he was happy. That's when I kind of liked her more because it showed growth as a character. Plus her fight was like the only fight we saw her. Oh my gosh, that was one of the most epic things in the world. Now, I can't discuss it because it involves the other character, and I can't talk about right now. But that was amazing. So, and then the last character, Alice. And I know you're looking at this and you're like, that's a dude. Yes, no, she is transgender. It's a woman in a man's body. And damn it, I'm going to say that a lot. She's actually my favorite character, even though I never saw her fight. And that's the thing that pissed me off about this entire damn show. We never see her fight, and she has like the coolest ability ever. Like they actually show it off. And it just pisses me off that they never showed it. Because like Alice's ability, she also has a knife, but it's like this weird curved machete looking thing. And she controls shadows. She literally can stab your shadow and you can... She's kind of like Shikamaru. Shikamaru is my favorite character in Naruto. That's just something I wanted to point out. And it just sounds cool. The fact that she manipulates shadows. That is like the coolest thing in the world. And they never show off her fights. And that irritated me to no end. Oh my god. Like you have no idea. Like... We constantly... She's like the voice of reason. That's the first thing I'm going to say. She's the voice of reason. If you need to talk to somebody, you need to just spill your guts. She's the one you go to because she has like... She's like brilliant. Oh my god. Like she is so down to earth. She's like... She's like the friend you need. Whenever you need a friend, she's there for you. And that just made me love her so much as a character. And then like her power is interesting. I'm just like, this is the one. This is the one I'm after. I understand, like I love all these characters. Don't get me wrong. I love all these characters. Even Mizuki but only at the end. I only liked her more in the end. But like Alice is like the one that from the moment she was introduced, because like the moment the episode she's introduced is the episode that Chizuki's introduced, and it's like they're roommates, right? They're roommates. And that she actually explains to Alice why she cares about her brother in a certain way. So like, all right off the bat, she was able to get her to spill the beans. They just met, which can be like a positive and a negative because it might be manipulation. I don't know, but overall, like she was always able to like just dissect what was in everybody's head, and she was always like literally she was the voice of reason. And she was just so awesome. I just wish they had shown her fight at some point because it irritates me that they did it. And it's like you have like the coolest out of all these people, out of everybody you've shown, even the people that we see fighting. You are the one with the coolest power, and you never get to show it off. It was frustrating, and I hate this show for that. Oh my god. Alright, so the build up to the finale of this season, I think season 2 will happen, so don't quote me on that. But at the build up to the end of the season is obviously we have Ikki and his sister Chizuki. They're technically all 4 of the members that I talked about in the care section are trying to get to the 7-Star Festival. Ikki needs to get there because, well, otherwise he won't graduate. Plus, he promised Stella that they would have a rematch from what happened at the beginning of the series. I didn't talk about that, but at the 7 Grand Festivals, Shizuki wants to go so that basically she can prove to her brother that she is worth being around him and to protect him and all that stuff. And Alice, we have no idea why she wants to get over there, but good for her. Now, so we're introduced to the president of the student council, Toka, who is considered by far the strongest person in the entire school. She is the #1 student. She's an A rank, and in the previous year, she made it to top 4 at the 7 Grand Festivals. So she's a badass, according to the lore. Now we actually get to see it, and she is a badass. She has a sword. Like I said, most of the characters in the show have swords. But she's lightning, so her ability is lightning. And she has a move called Raikiri, so basically, lightning blade, from Naruto. But no, just kidding. And this move essentially has been undefeated. Like nobody's been able to beat this move. They don't explain how she lost at the previous 7th Grand Festival. Nobody's been able to beat this move. But the point is, according to them, nobody has been able to beat this move. It's a close range attack, and Shizuku's one of her later matches was against her, and then the fight was amazing. Okay, it was great. It was surprising because it's the water versus lightning. Water's at a huge disadvantage here, but she was putting work. And she put in the work, but unfortunately she lost. And then what happened was that meant that she's out of the competition now. Like you basically have to have a spotless record. You have to go undefeated for I believe it was 16 or so rounds to be able to make it to the 7 Grand Festival to actually be considered a representative of the school. So by her losing, that's pretty much you're out kind of thing. That kind of mentality. So you can't afford to lose. Now, because daddy he only wants the ones that are known to be powerful to be able to get there. He tries his hardest to make sure that Ikki doesn't make it, because like I said, he hates his son. Everybody in the family hates Ikki because he doesn't have any magic powers. Now what they do is that they obviously him and Stella are dating, right? And that's the story that's been going on. And he pretty much gets arrested for fake crimes, obviously, about how he's with her and sexual relations and stuff like that, and blah 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 blah, and how he's using that to influence, basically bullshit. But he can't do anything about it. He gets locked up, but because he's part of the tournament, they can't deny him the fight. So he does fight, but he has he gets no breaks. He's basically just dead. He doesn't get fed very much. He's literally just beaten down by the system. He's in solitary. He has no contact with anybody except for when he goes to the matches, and even then, he doesn't really have any talk with. I mean, the people who actually care about him are the people in the school. So the teacher that's there as the judge, I can't even interact with him because that might do something there. And so he has to all his fights end up being inside the prison. in a specific room, blah, blah, blah. But he wins. He keeps winning, he keeps winning, he keeps winning. But he's slowly being torn down psychologically. Because every time he fights, they also do like another trial thing, try to beat him down, stuff like that, trying to make him feel bad and stuff like that. And then, near the end, his teacher slips him a note from Stella telling him that she's waiting for him. She's waiting for him to get there and blah, 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 and stuff like that. So that kind of gives him some motivation. And then it's the final rounds. He is scheduled to fight Toka because that's how the people, the organization, they set it up to make sure he loses. They have beaten him down to the point where he should not win this match. That is the setup. Toka respects him. Like they have mutual respect with each other. They kind of, they're cool with each other, right? They don't have any problem with each other. But she asks him to not go because she doesn't want to, humiliate him because she is the strongest and she doesn't feel right fighting him in this scenario. But he's gonna do it regardless. Here's the fucked up thing, and I honestly, this is the good thing. Like it helps you cheer for the main character. The villains are his family, right, and their group, their organization, the people that work under them. He was supposed to get a car ride because this time they were gonna make this a big festival thing. They were gonna make sure that everybody saw this thing. And so they were going to do it like televised all over the country to literally humiliate this man. That's how fucked up this family is. I honestly hate every one of those fuckers, which is a good thing because they're the bad guys. And so they're going to make this big spectacle, try to make an example out of him to not cross with them and, blah, 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 and all this other nonsense and stuff like that. And try to make him feel so bad that he's just going to quit. And he's supposed to get a ride over there, but they literally make him walk. To try to make it to where he doesn't even make it, that kind of idea. They're literally trying to screw him so bad. And like I said, he was beaten down mentally to the point where he doesn't even believe in himself anymore until he gets to the school, and everybody he had to help throughout the series was there cheering him on, and Stella was like, I'm going to the finals, I'm waiting for you now, kind of give him that boost, that motivation and stuff like that. And then he goes in, and then he makes it in time. And then Toka is like, okay, let's do this. And I gotta say, it was one of the most epic things in the world, even though it wasn't even a fight. It wasn't even a fight. And honestly, I'll give it this. Toka should have won. She should have won. But because of the character and the way she respects him, she wasn't going to do it. So essentially, he only had one swing in him. He only had one good swing via his body boosting ability. That was it. Toga is a close range fighter, so this is the way they set it up. It's like, thank you for being here, and in their heads they're like, I don't care if this was like, Iki's like, I don't care if this was staged, and then she's like, I don't care if I'm number one. I want to fight this night with all my might because of the respect I have for them. And so you see, and they do this thing where literally everything turns like black and white except for like him, he has like red, and then she has yellow, right? That's the setup. And it was crazy because like it was literally a thing where if he missed and she dodged it, she wins because then she could just do whatever and win. But no, they decided to do it like an actual clash, and it's like he goes in and then she goes with the Raikiri, which ends up losing for the first time ever, which I was expecting it to because that's the main character, so they were going to do that as a whole setup thing. And then he won. And then, like, the fat dude, police guy, or the right-hand man of their dad, like, tries to attack him because he wasn't allowed to win. He shouldn't have won that. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bitch, shut up. And then, like, Stella, like, beat his ass. It was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, take that, motherfucker. I can't wait to see his dad be pissed in season 2. If it happens, of course. And then Stella, Alice, and Iki are going to represent the school at the 7-Star Festival. And I'm just like, if they do a season 2 and my girl Stella or Alice doesn't get a fight in there, I'm going to rage quit. I will rage quit. This is bullshit. I want to see her fight. But yeah, that's how it ends. Oh, and there's He proposes to Stella. Weird, but it was sweet. Alright, so Chivalry of Fail Night was a show that I personally enjoyed. Now I did do some research before watching it, and I did see some reviews about, like, in the early going. I saw reviews afterwards, and people were comparing it to Asterix Wars, which I can't give my opinion on because I haven't seen that show, and I don't think I'm planning on it anytime soon. So it's like, I can't, like, so if you watch Asterix Wars, apparently according to other people who watch both, well, besides the fact that they hated both shows, they said they were kind of the same. I don't know, so I can't give you that point of view. But to me, the good things about this show is the fact that there's build up. Okay, the romance in there is actually done really well. It's not your typical, flirting weird things and people getting mad at each other. Like, they literally like each other from the get go, but they have no idea how to express it to each other. And then the slow build up to them actually being together. Um, yes, there was a little bit of fan service with Stella, which was weird sometimes and completely unnecessary. But if it helped them in the relationship in some way, whatever. The characters themselves really were well done. I love, even though Toka was only there for a very short time, she was a badass. Okay, she was shown off in a way to where you're like, you know what? She's actually pretty cool, even though we barely got to see her because she lost, right? So she lost in her last match, and like, we got to see her personality. She's like, I do not want this to happen because it's not fair. It's not fair for him. Granted, might be a little cocky, but I mean, she proved it. She can beat someone's ass. Like, she's great, right? She's awesome. But that's it. Like, the characters make this show. I don't care if you think that the story mentality is like Asterix Wars, or you're gonna compare it to other shows, because I'm not gonna do that. The characters in here make the show. And like I said, I don't know anything about Asterix Wars. I've never watched it. I don't plan on watching it anytime soon. I don't know the way the story is or the characters or anything like that. But for me, what made this show is how great the characters were done. All of them. Even though I was a little weird with Chizuki in the beginning because of her brotherly love thing. But, like, the fact that they used that as a starting point and then ended it with her being okay with him being with Stella, and she just wanted him to be happy, it worked. It helped her as a character in the end. So, and like, honestly, the only thing that pissed me off is just the fuck Alice. I didn't even get a fight, man. I just want to see her fight. She's so awesome, man. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for this review. Anime time, whatever you want to call it. I've been SoresanCrockxen, and oh wait, I forgot the rating. I definitely say you should watch it. But the people the reviews that I saw, were talking about, like, the beginning. So I guess, I don't know, maybe it's just them being upset that they have to do that job or whatever. I don't know. I had fun with it. I would go as far as to say you should finish it, but, like, I will give you the benefit of the doubt. There are some things in there that might be weird, and the fact that there's a lot of characters that they show off and then we never really interact with them too much again, that might turn some people off. But whatever floats your boat. I say watch it. If by the halfway point you're actually liking the four characters I told you, those are the main ones you gotta watch out. If you like them, then you're solid. You should definitely finish it. But just in case, halfway point is good to go. But yeah, now I can say my name is SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.